Hello guys, so in this video we're gonna do the exterior environment of the game, that is the environment outside the building. So to start off, I forgot to texture these sides of the walls. It's gonna give better results when we get to the lighting later on, so I'm gonna just texture them real quick. Of course I should disable the screen messages. Then we get to texturing these sides of the walls of the main area of the game, so of the structure. So I'm gonna give them a material also, give them a material too. Sorry for forgetting to do that in the last video. Should have done that in that video. Sorry for that. Now I'm gonna do these sides too real quick for things to be well done when we view the exterior from the spike door later on. This one, spike door. Gonna do all of them, select them, and just do them for the material. Right. And do this also. This one. Just complete the remaining side real fast. Right. Okay. That should do the trick. Having a last look at it. Yeah. I'm gonna texture this one, these sides of the block, of that block also. The material used is the marble rock material instance, just for things to be organized. So that's it. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a landscape to my scene, my level. So in the modes icon, I'm gonna select the landscape mode, and I'm gonna add a landscape. We're not gonna import it from a height map file. We're gonna create a new landscape. We're gonna give it the material grass, ground grass instance we created in the last video. And what we're gonna do, section side 64, it's gonna be 63 by 63. Section per component, one section per component. Number of component, there gonna be 25 components, so 5 by 5. Of size 5 by 5 components. The overall resolution is gonna update. This is the resolution in quads of the entire landscape. 316 by 316, total component 25. Then I'm gonna place it in the right spot, in the top view. I'm gonna just place it. Gonna switch over. Gonna have the select. No, just did an error right there. Okay. Gonna have the brush wireframe to have a view, and just place it in the right spot. that should be there. It's okay there. Gonna go back to perspective view and just lower it a little bit to have a step between the building and the landscape. Gonna set translation snapping to 10 and just tune it for the elevation. Maybe a little bit up. That should do the job. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit create to create the landscape. So we have our landscape created. What I'm gonna do also, I'm gonna just give a material to these sides too, because to these sides of the brush, just these sides, gonna just give them the material that brush is already using, concrete tiles, just to apply it. It has been applied. I'm gonna select alignment, align surface planar to have the correct alignment, and that's it. View it from the inside to double check. That should be fine. Now what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna add an Hdri backdrop. So an Hdri backdrop is an actor you add to your scene. It's gonna present a panoramic image that is gonna surround your scene of another environment. So your scene is gonna be surrounded by a panoramic view of another environment. So it is used in industry, in car. It is used for car models demonstrations, motorbike models demonstrations, in the industry field and related stuff. So to be able to add that actor to your scene, you should activate a plugin which is called the Hdri Backdrop plugin. So the panoramic image is gonna be contained in an Hdri image that you're gonna set your Hdri backdrop to use. So I'm gonna search for the plugin Hdri. I already activated for my project. I already enabled it Hdri backdrop. So we should be able to select it from the lights section of the place actor panel, this one. So what I'm gonna do, this is gonna replace, of course, the sky sphere blueprint and the atmospheric fog. The sky, it's not the atmospheric fog. The name of the actor is the atmospheric fog, actually. So it's gonna replace the sky sphere, the atmospheric fog, and given the fact that it comes with an included skylight, it's gonna also replace the default skylight of the scene. So first of all, we're gonna remove the atmospheric fog, the sky sphere blueprint, which is gonna leave our level in the dark, and for the lighting we're gonna also remove the skylight since we no longer need it. I should organize my world outline a little bit, my world outliner a little bit. For the pickups, I'm gonna create a new folder real quick. pickups. I'm gonna call it pickups. I'm gonna select all of them, all the pickups, and add them to that folder. Go to the remaining ones. All the pickups and move them to that folder. Move to the pickups folder. This is the folder for the pickups. For these 4 brushes for the pillars we created in the last video, I'm gonna move them to the geometry folder. Also the glass window, the ceiling glass window, also to the geometry folder. We have the player start, alright, the landscape. Okay. Now our sky effects folder is empty. I'm gonna add the Hdri backdrop to the scene. So it contains an Hdri panoramic Hdri image texture that surrounds the concerned level, so the concerned scene, giving a nice background view for the scene. And it casts also the shadows of the included object in it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place it to surround my entire level. Have a top view on it and make it surround. I'm gonna switch to the edit mode and make it centered at my level. I'm gonna increase its size in a second, but first of all, gonna make it centered, yes, this way. I'm gonna increase its size. I'm gonna go to scale snapping of 0.25. Gonna just increase its size. For the Hdri backdrop, the scaling works the other way around. You reduce the scale, it's gonna increase the size. You increase the scale, it's gonna reduce the size for the Hdri backdrop. So we're gonna reduce the scale to increase the size actually. So just reduce the scale. To 0.25, the sweet spot for this level. So I'm gonna just move it to be in the right spot, for this Hdri backdrop. Should be okay. Viewed from the inside. So it gives a nice panoramic view for the outside of the building. And it's got a skylight component on its own, so no need for a skylight for the scene. For a default skylight for the scene, you have a skylight provided by the Hdri backdrop. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna change this Hdri image configured set in the Hdri backdrop. So I'm gonna change this one, the cube map. I already downloaded an Hdri image. You can download it from the website Polyhaven, the website Polyhaven, link in the description. If you want to download your own Hdri image, I already downloaded a 4K Hdri image. To import it, I'm gonna create a new folder in my content folder. I'm gonna call it Hdri simply. And now I'm gonna just look for my Hdri image. This one, I'm gonna just add it to my Hdri folder. So just get it here, drag and drop it inside the folder. Autumn Park 4K. Now I'm gonna set my Hdri backdrop to use that Hdri. You already see it is blurred even though it is a 4K image, so we're gonna do some configuration to the cube map texture for the Hdri to render the wanted definition. So in maximum texture size here, it defaults to 512. We're gonna set it to 4096 for the texture resolution to not be compressed below the desired resolution for the Hdri. There's gonna be a processor work here to update the resolution. We wait for it to update. So we get a nice panoramic Hdri surrounding our level. So now guys, we have an updated definition for the Hdri we downloaded. It's much clearer, it's much crisper. So also we're gonna adjust another setting to prevent dynamic compression of this Hdri as it is rendered in the level. So we scroll down to MIP Gen settings and we're gonna set it to no MIP maps. Which is gonna make the image much more crisper. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna disable, it's already disabled, the sRGB color space to use the full color space for this Hdri, and we're gonna save it. So in the level now we have a much clearer Hdri panoramic view. Next, what we're gonna do, we're gonna view this from the inside because we're concerned with the view from the inside of the building. I'm gonna just adjust the play mode, current camera location already. I'm gonna hit play to see from the inside. Now I'm in the inside of the main area. You can already see the new sky of the level. But we have this, as you can see, we have some irregularities between the landscape and the Hdri, the surrounding panoramic view. So we're gonna solve this problem now. I'm gonna stop the gameplay. Just go to further adjustment for the level. So for the Hdri, Hdri backdrop, I'm gonna just lift it up a little bit. It's good to keep it as it is. I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z, okay, to go back. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add foliage to hide the irregularities of the merging between the landscape and the Hdri seen from the inside. So to do that, we're gonna access a pack provided by Epic Games. I'll just see it in a second. So guys, it is the open world demo collection. We're gonna wait for the launcher to to start, the Epic Games Launcher to start. Alright, so we're gonna access the library, and here, guys, we have this pack, Open World Demo Collection, provided by Epic Games. It contains open world assets that you can add to your game. You just the maximum supported engine version is 4.25. Very simple to solve. You just create a project in 4.25. You add this pack to that project, and then you copy and paste the file to the content file. You copy and paste the folder, to the content folder of your 4.26 project, and there's gonna be no problem. You can use all the assets included in that pack. So I already did this for my current project. This is the kite demo folder. We're gonna add 2 trees from that pack to our foliage editor for our project. So I'm gonna activate the foliage editor, and then in that pack I'm gonna access environments, then trees. We're concerned by the Scots Pine and the Scots Pine tool. I'm gonna add the first one, Scots Pine, to the foliage editor, and now the Scots Pine tool also. We're gonna adjust some settings for our foliage editor, because if we proceed this way, there's gonna be a lot of trees. I'm gonna just show you in a second. Just paint here. There is a lot of trees. We don't want that. We don't a very lesser density of trees. So I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z, and I'm gonna start with the first tree. Density, we're gonna decrease this from 100 to 4. Then for the scaling, in order to have random scaling of the trees close to natural, not the same size, not trees having the same size, which is not natural, we're gonna have a randomized scaling between a minimum of 0.5 and a maximum of 1.5. That should do the trick. Now we move to the other tree. The Scots Pine tool. The same density, 4. And for the scale, we're gonna reduce the scaling a little bit. The randomized scaling between 0.4 and 0.7. That should do it right. And now I'm gonna select both of my trees and start painting around the building on this side to hide the irregularities from the inside view, seen from the spike door. So from the spike door, sorry. Gonna just paint my trees. Alright. And I'm gonna have a look from the inside. Gonna hit play to see. Just approach the spike door to have a look until I get something that which satisfies me. It's alright. It's okay. Gonna just close it a little bit from there and there. Gonna leave that one there and close it a little bit from here. Close it a little bit there, just a little bit, a touch. Back to testing. Alt P to launch the gameplay. It's alright. I'm gonna just stop the gameplay now, because it of course it depends on what you want. Everyone has his own project requirements and needs. For the purpose of this project, they're gonna be this way. It's gonna be this way. Now what I'm gonna do is as a plus for this video, I'm gonna update the color of the material of the ranged enemy to separate it from the zombie enemy. So I'm gonna go to select mode, and then just move the content browser there. I'm gonna access my ranged enemy folder, access the blueprint, his blueprint, ranged enemy. In the viewport, we can access his skeletal mesh. You can see that it uses two materials, one material for the whole body and another material for the chest logo. This one, as you can see, this one for the chest logo and one for the remaining of the body. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna access these two materials and create material instances out of them. We have these two materials. I'm gonna create for the first one a material instance, and for the second one another material instance. These are gonna be our personalized material instances for the ranged enemy skeletal mesh. So gonna drag them to the material folder we create materials folder we created in the last video. Move here, and we're gonna set our ranged enemy to use these material instances. For the body, it's gonna be the body instance, and for the logo, it's gonna be the where is it? The chest logo instance. Should be the right path. Name starter pack. It's selecting the. It's indicating the path for the parent material. Or it's gonna be this one. Anyway, compile. Back to the mesh. Alright. Now we're gonna open our material instances and tune up the colors. Just yes, this one. So the body instance, I'm gonna open them up for editing. Edit. Alright, and there I'm gonna for the body instance, I'm gonna change the body color. I'm gonna activate the body color for this instance and change it to an industrial brown, a technology brown color. So I'm gonna just tune it like that. You can see the update in the viewport. Select first of all our something like that. Saturation. It should be like that. Okay. Gonna save this color, this spot. And just lighten the color a little bit. we're gonna use that color, so we're gonna go with that. I already have a saved color, so I'm gonna use this one. Then I'm gonna hit OK to apply it to the body material instance. We'll have a look at the result. So here we have the new color of the body of the ranged enemy, and we're gonna go now to the logo material instance. Gonna just select that color from the saved colors, so this one. Gonna hit OK and save. Save both of the instances, and here I have my ranged enemy with his new color, technology brown color. Now I'm gonna save all. And guys, that should be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.